other range of documents, including our 4-year council plan, a review of our 10-year community vision, and also the review of our municipal public health and wellbeing plan. As a meeting chair, I give my consent for this special council meeting to be streamed live, recorded and published online. Anyone who is invited to read out a question or make a submission will be recorded, and their voice, image and comments will form part of that live stream and recording. The chair and or the CEO has the discretion and authority at any time to direct the termination or interruption of live streaming. Such direction will only be given in exceptional circumstances where deemed appropriate. That may include where the content of debate is considered misleading, defamatory or potentially inappropriate to be published. The live stream will stop prior to the closed section of the meeting and will recommence for the conclusion of the meeting. The public is able to view this live stream via our website at www.pyrenees.vic.gov.au. And should technical issues prevent the continuation of the live stream, the meeting will continue as long as a quorum can be maintained, and where possible, a recording of the meeting will be published on the council's website. Where a quorum cannot be maintained, the meeting will be adjourned until the issue is resolved, or the meeting postponed to another time and date in accordance with council's governance rules. I will now move to acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge the people past and present of the Wadawurrung, Dja Dja Wurrung, Eastern Maar and Watchabolik tribes whose land forms the Pyrenees Shire. We pay our respect to the customs, traditions and stewardship of the land by the elders and people of these tribes on whose land we meet today. I will now ask for any apologies. I will note that we have our Acting Director of Corporate and Community Services, Mr. Shane Walden, in tonight, and we thank him for his presence. And now I will move on to any notice of disclosure of interest by councillors and officers. And there being none, we will move straight into our items for decision. And we will move firstly to item 6.1.1, and that's our draft 2025-26 budget. And I will now hand to Mr. Walden to speak to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The draft budget is presented for release for community consultation tonight and includes the draft budget 2025-26, including fees and charges, the draft 10-year financial plan, and the revenue and rating plan 2025-26. Officers have considered the latest economic factors in preparing the budget, and this includes applying the 3% rate cap variation that has been set by the Victorian Government. Individual property rates may vary from this 3% due to individual property valuations. However, the overall rates revenue will only increase by this amount. Within the revenue and rating plan, the suggested differentials have been simplified, with there being only one vacant land differential as opposed to the previous 3, and this has been set at 150% of the general rate. Undevelopable vacant land remains at 90%. Farms will continue to be rated at 70% of the differential of the general rate. The planned community consultation will promote the key messages and initiatives, engage the community and review feedback. And then following council's consideration of the finalised documents, the loop will be closed back with community. The community engagement is for 28 days, and there is an opportunity for the community to select to present their written submission as a verbal submission at the scheduled council meeting on 16 June. Minor changes may be made to the final draft documents as a result of the feedback received during the 28 days and the consideration of this feedback. The budget is scheduled to be considered at the council meeting on the 23rd of June. The officer recommendation is provided on page 6 of tonight's agenda. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Walden. And so that recommendation refers to giving public notice with sections 55 and 96 of the Local Government Act and the council's intention to adopt the draft budget, the revenue and rating plan and the financial plan, as Mr. Walden said, to be adopted on Monday, the 23rd of June. The second part of the recommendation to give public notice, and the third part to give public notice to any person who wishes to be heard in support of a written submission that be provided to council and should indicate in the submission that they wish to appear before the special council meeting on Monday, the 16th of June, to verbally present their submission. Again, that's on page 6. May I ask a councillor who's willing to move a motion to that recommendation, please? Thank you. Councillor Wardlaw, seconded. Councillor Toll. Councillor Wardlaw, would you like to speak to that?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just going to speak briefly on it because it's a rather large area of document and a lot of figures, but we've spent a lot of time going over the needs and the wants of those in our community, and we've really tried the best to get the best outcome for everyone without putting too much financial pressure on as much as we can. So, yeah, have a good time reading through the documents.
Thank you, Councillor Wardlaw. Councillor Toll, would you like to speak to it? Any other councillors like to make any comments on it? Thank you. Councillor Ferrari.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just like to say, this is the draft, of course, draft document that goes out for public scrutiny, and there's been a lot of workshopping and discussion by councillors and council staff, particularly the manager of finance, who I'd like to thank for his work he's put into this in developing the draft budget. As we know, it's no secret money is scarce at present, and it's harder to attract, and that's no different to our council either. So it's been a really, there's been some really healthy and in-depth discussion about the best way of moving forward. And hopefully we've got it pretty right. I'd just like to say we don't generally get a lot of comments around the budget, but I would encourage the community to have an extra look, an extra read. It's a big document. Sometimes it might be a little difficult to interpret, but if you don't want to read the whole lot, read what's relevant to you and then make some comments back to the council, and we welcome any and all comments. And if you do get a comment, you will get a response. So please have a look at it. It's important. It tells you how we're going to spend the money, your money, for the next few years. So it is really important that you make an effort to have a look at it. And if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ferrari. Any other councillors? Councillor Phelan? Happy? Thank you. And I do echo those comments. We do thank Mr. Glenn Caleo for the immense amount of work in answering the questions. We've had many questions because we are stewards of your money, and we want to spend that and make the most of that for you, the community that we are responsible for. So we're very grateful for that time. And I do echo again Councillor Ferrari's comment. Please do, any question you have, no question shouldn't be asked in this process, and whether that's written or ring one of us councillors, or however the best means for you to do that. We do very much want your feedback so we can best provide for every single resident in this Shire. So on that note, I do ask councillors to vote on that motion. All those in favour? And that's carried. Thank you very much. We now move on to item 6.1.2, and that's the integrated planning suite of documents for consultation. Those documents I referred to earlier in the meeting. I will now hand again to Mr. Shane Walden. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Tonight, 3 important documents are presented for consideration for release for community consultation, and these documents must be approved and adopted by the 30th of October 2025. That is the 4-year council plan, the review of the 10-year community vision, and the review of the municipal public health and wellbeing plan. These are important strategic documents that frame the focus of council for the 4 years and beyond. Whilst they are not due for adoption until the 30th of October, in accordance with the Local Government Act, it is logical that they are considered alongside the budget that enables them to be operationalised. The draft documents presented by officers tonight reflect the input of councillors who in turn have considered the information they received during the election period and in discussion with community since the election. The council plan focuses on a sustainable community with 5 pillars: supporting and growing livable places and connected communities, promoting a diversified, thriving economy, preserving, promoting and enjoying the natural environment, planning and building infrastructure for current and future needs, and community-centric leadership and proactive service delivery. The Municipal Public Health and Wellbeing Plan includes 6 priority areas that align to the Victorian Government's health priorities. These 6 areas are encouraging healthier eating, increasing active living, creating a safer community, connecting our community and supporting mental health, supporting population through all life stages, and being a climate resilient community. The community vision was originally prepared in 2021 and needs to be refreshed. The 28 days of community engagement and consultation aims to demonstrate accountability and transparency through clear and accessible communications to ensure our strategic priorities and financial decisions are understood. Explain how council's decisions represent value for money while supporting the community, and build trust and confidence in the in the Pyrenees Shire Council by aligning with community values and priorities. Minor changes can be made to the final draft documents as a result of the feedback received during the 28 days and consideration of this feedback. The officer recommendation is provided on page 9 of tonight's agenda. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you again, Mr Walden. And that recommendation is the council gives public notice of the council's intention to adopt the council plan, health and wellbeing plan and the community vision. Point 2 is that it gives public notice seeking submissions on the proposals contained in the draft documents. So written public submissions will be accepted for 28 days ending 9 a.m. on the Wednesday, the 11th of June. And the third part of that recommendation is that it gives public notice that any person who wishes to be heard, again, in support of a written submission, that they appear before a scheduled council meeting on Monday, the 16th of June to verbally present their submission, either personally or via a person acting on their behalf at the meeting. May I have a councillor please move a recommendation? And Councillor Phelan has moved that and seconded by Councillor Ferrari. Councillor Phelan, would you like to speak to that motion?
I would, thank you. And hopefully joining online isn't creating any issues with how I'm heard. But just wanted to say there has been a lot of consultation between councillors and officers to get to this point. And we are really pleased to see a draft council plan, which is focusing on really building up our communities with greater and diversified economic activity, and also having at the heart of the council plan a shire which has community at its core, community outcomes and community interests at its core. So we're really pleased to see the plan, which we hope gives that balance of protecting and promoting the beautiful environment that we live in, really trying to support townships that are well maintained, community aspiration, but also aspirations of the business community. So looking forward to hearing the feedback that residents have of our council plan, and also some of the measures of success that we have against this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Phelan. Councillor Ferrari, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It is important to have these plans developed for reference and guidance in moving forward. And in meeting, it's a way we can measure in meeting our schedules, KPIs, and importantly, community's expectations, because this is really what it's all about. So about what your expectations are and plans to develop that to make sure that we're in line with that. I thank the council officers again that have put so much work into these plans. You know, they go out and we read them and they're really good documents, but there's so much work that goes in behind the scenes. And I just thank all the staff that have been involved. They are essential documents and they provide the community with an understanding of our strategic journey moving forward. So again, they're really, really important documents. So again, I encourage the members of the community to read and comment on these documents. And I think what's really important, and it's really reaffirming what Councillor Phelan has said, these plans have been developed with the community feedback and discussion very much in mind. So we have listened to you, we have heard it, and so much of what you have said has gone into these plans and for front and foremost for them to be developed. So you have been heard and they are in the plans. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ferrari. Other councillors Councillor Toller, Councillor Woodland. Again, I'll echo both Councillor Phelan and Councillor Ferrari to thank staff and everyone that's had so much input into creating these documents. These documents will set the strategic direction for us and for us to be able to provide for our community where and when that needs to be done. So we do again implore you to really read through those documents and we really would love to hear from the public. We think we're hitting the mark or not hitting the mark. So please, you can jump online, you can get hard copies from the offices here if that's easier for you, but please contact us and we'd love to hear your feedback. But again, thank you to all those involved, and we're very excited to hear if we are hitting the mark or not hitting the mark. So out there, once this goes up, this will be an exciting time, but a busy time. And again, that date that we need that by is Wednesday, the 11th of June for all the documentation, budget and all these ones. Please, if you can put that on your calendar by 9 a.m, Wednesday, the 11th of June. Now, in light of that, I ask all those councillors to vote on that motion. All those in favour? And that's carried. Thank you very much. I will now move to close the meeting, but thank you all those that have joined us online. We very much look forward to your participation in this process, and thank you to all those that have brought the documentation to where it is tonight. Have a lovely evening, and I close the meeting at 6:16, I think, if I'm reading that correctly.
Yep.
Thank you very much and have a lovely night.